What's the story, Morning Glory? What's the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of Married to Medicine Season 9, Episode 13. So the episode starts off with Anila. Quad comes over to Anila's house and tells Anila that some of the women in the group think that possibly Anila and her husband, Dr. Kieran, had staged the whole entire home invasion or the home burglary. They feel like it was staged, it was fake, it's not true. Anila and her husband are making it up, they're lying, and they did this, I guess, for either insurance purposes or for possibly a storyline to stay on the show. Now, Anila, of course, is really offended by this, and she talks about how Toya didn't even check on her to see if she was okay or anything. When everybody was at Dr. Jackie's house for whatever event that she had planned for them, whatever dinner that was, and everybody, and I think it was Dr. Simone who had FaceTimed Anila. Anila says to Quad, during that FaceTime call, I felt like I was being interrogated by Dr. Contessa because she was asking all these questions like she didn't believe that this crime actually took place. So it is suspicious that the way that it played out, the way that Anila explained it to everybody, it does sound a little bit suspicious on whether or not she was actually robbed. I really don't know. I really can't say one way or the other, but there are a couple of holes in her story. For example, she lives in a gated community. How did they get in through the gate? So if we're going to go with that these people got in through the gate because someone in her neighborhood was in cahoots with them and that's how they got through the gate, well then how do they get through, or how do they get past the security guard? Because a security guard, I'm assuming, has to have knowledge of who's coming into the neighborhood. I'm assuming, I don't know, unless the people that they were in cahoots with had told the security guard that these people were expected and to let them come in. So maybe that's how they got past the gate and that's how they got past the security guard. But I think the question more lies with, if this is true that they were actually burglarized, did they not get the footage from the neighborhood? Like I'm pretty sure there's cameras at the entrance of the neighborhood. And there's also cameras at the security guard's little station or booth or wherever they're located. There's security guards from, I don't think they have neighbors. I think in this area, the houses are really, really, really spread apart. So maybe there's no neighbors that could have captured any of what was going on with their cameras. And then, conveniently, Anila's own home security system or home security cameras on that particular day either were not turned on or not working or whatever. So there are some holes in her story. That's not to say necessarily that this was completely staged by Anila and her husband, but there are holes in her story. Plus, if the public has any doubts about her story, it could come from the suspicions that I just mentioned, and also on our end as viewers watching, and especially if you watch any of the other housewife shows, you've noticed that this is happening quite a bit. Now, a couple of years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, I'm not exactly sure when, Kyle Richards, she got robbed. Now, at the beginning of the season on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, we find out that Dorit was also burglarized. Then at the reunion of The Real Housewives of Atlanta, we find out that Marlo was almost burglarized. And now it's Anila. So it's like all these things are happening and these people are supposed to be extremely wealthy. They can afford to have top-notch surveillance at their home. They can afford to have, a couple of security guards probably guarding their property. And it just all seems kind of like, how does this even happen? Either y'all planned it or someone in your neighborhood set you up. Someone in your neighborhood did this to you. I can't think of any other reason, because it's not just some random burglars who were just, scoping the neighborhood and decided to, zero in on her house. So either she was targeted by somebody that she knows, or it was staged by her and her husband. I can't think of any other option when it comes to how she presented the story to us. I don't know if there's a police report out there. I'm pretty sure if there is, somebody in YouTube land or Google land has already found it. It's all over the internet. I have no idea if there was an actual police report. So yeah, we'll just have to wait and see how all of this turns out. Moving on to Dr. Jackie. So Dr. Simone and Cecil come over And of course, we have to have the obligatory charcuterie board. In every single reality TV show that I watch, anytime two people or more get together, a charcuterie board magically appears. So it makes me wonder, what the hell were people snacking on before charcuterie boards? Because every single time, like, charcuterie boards are like the thing now. What happened to just some crackers and cheese or some cookies or something? Like, it's always a damn complicated, laid out charcuterie board. And in this situation, Dr. Jackie wanted the damn charcuterie board, and she tells her husband about it. But instead of him getting the board already, prepared and ready to go, he buys all the ingredients that go on it, and now they have to put it together. I would have been like, girl, can you order a damn pizza? I did not come here to roll up some meat and cheese. Anyway, so they get together and they start talking about how the group is extremely fractured. Everybody's fighting with everybody. Dr. Jackie, I think, mentions, in the past we've had beefs before, but it was always limited to like maybe 2 or 3 people. Now everybody is fighting with everybody else. Everybody is not getting, it's just ridiculous. And then she talks about all the fractions. You have Quad against Toya. You have Dr. Heavenly against everybody except for Dr. Jackie. You have Contessa and Dr. Heavenly feuding. You have everybody now practically feuding. It's just bad. It's just really bad. And so they're thinking, like, what can we do to bring this group back together? So it was Curtis who came up with the idea of going to Blue Ridge, which was their very first, I think, vacation several years ago. So that's what they're going to do now. They're all going to they're going to take a trip to Blue Ridge. Moving on. Y'all, Miss Gomez is back. Now, when Miss Gomez left Anila's home, she made it seem like this was it. She was gone and they were not going to see her face ever again. She made it seem like, she was tired of working. She was, at that stage in her life where she wanted to retire and relax and chill, go spend time with her family. Nothing was ever said about her needing to go take care of any kind of personal business. It was presented to us like she was done. She has her own family in Houston. She wants to go spend time with her family, doesn't have to give a reason, doesn't have to give an explanation. We thought that was the end of it all. They made such a big to-do about her saying goodbye, the children crying, waving goodbye on the driveway. But all of a sudden, like a couple of weeks later, Miss Gomez is back. And Anila says that, she's done doing her, she's done taking care of whatever personal business she had to take care of. Okay, you didn't say that when she left, she was leaving to take care of personal business. You made it seem like she was done with y'all, that she was ready just to throw in the towel and just go back to Houston and never set foot in Atlanta ever again. But she's back. And the only thing that I want to know, how much did you have to double, triple, or quadruple her damn check to get her to come back to take care of your very small, rambunctious children and to clean that big old house? How much, Anila? Probably right now, Miss Gomez probably makes as much as Dr. Karen because I can't imagine her coming back to raise your children for anything less than that, for anything less than a doctor's salary. Moving on. Dr. Contessa, she has her fitness competition. So when I was watching her preparing for the fitness competition and everything, I was like, I hope Dr. Contessa does not win. Not because she doesn't deserve to win, but because it would be just way too staged if she ended up winning. Because on The Real Housewives of New Jersey, Teresa Giudice was also into the whole body fitness thing, and she entered a fitness competition and she ended up winning. Not to say that she didn't deserve it, but I just kind of find it hard to believe that they're competing. If any of this is real, okay, if this competition or these competitions, if they're even legit and real and not staged by Bravo, if these competitions are even real, I just was like flabbergasted when Teresa won, because she was competing against people who do this for a living. She was competing against people half her age, and then she ends up winning. And the same thing with Dr. Contessa. She's competing against very seasoned professional women who do this all the time, competing against women who are half her age, and then she ends up winning. And she really wasn't even taking it that seriously. It didn't seem like it, because she was running off to Vegas, eating stuff that she wasn't supposed to be eating, doing things she was supposed to be doing. But then she ends up winning this, whatever. Okay, she can have it. Her whole family came. Her father was there, who I low-key thought her father had passed away. But anyways, he's alive and kicking. Her father came, her husband, her kids are all there. I was just surprised that nobody from the cast was there to support her. Like, what the hell is going on there? Now it's time for everybody to get ready for the trip to Blue Ridge. So before they depart, Dr. Jackie, her husband Curtis, Dr. Simone, and her husband Cecil, they all gather, I think, at Dr. Jackie's house. And before they leave, they all say a prayer that this, hopefully this is going to turn into a very positive trip and that a lot of the broken relationships will be mended. Audra is married now. So Audra and Martin finally got married. We find out that they were celibate for, oh, I thought they were celibate the whole entire time they were dating, but coming to find out that they were celibate for just 1 month before they got married. And so Dr. Martin was really potent, and this is the reason why, Audra ended up getting pregnant. No surprise there. We all know, she ends up getting pregnant. So, and I think she got pregnant like probably during her honeymoon or something because they had just gotten married and now they find out that they're pregnant. So, yeah, all of that celibacy got Dr. Martin's boys, just, they're ready to go. Moving on. They arrive in Blue Ridge. Jackie and Dr. Simone, I guess they're like the hosts of the trip. So they're the ones who are going to be assigning the rooms because they don't want no shenanigans. They don't want people fighting, getting black eyes, tripping over each other over some damn rooms. So they're going to go ahead and assign all of the rooms. The first people to arrive are Jackie and, no, I'm sorry. The first people to arrive are, Toya and Dr. Eugene. And when they arrive, Dr. Simone and Dr. Jackie have a very serious heart-to-heart talk with Toya, and they let her know that this is supposed to be a very positive trip. This is a trip about healing. We want everybody to come in with a very good attitude, a positive attitude, an open mind. We're not here to tear each other down. We're here to build each other up. This is the kind of trip that this is. So Toya said that she had a conversation with her pastor's wife, and her pastor's wife had given her some very good advice on being able to listen and acknowledge other people's feelings, and whether you agree with them or not, but just to accept whatever they have to say, to accept. I don't know what she was talking about because I'm not that elevated yet, but just to, have an open mind and open heart and just focus on forgiveness and being positive and moving forward. So hopefully, she's going to take some of that stuff that she heard from her pastor's wife and from the two doctors. She's going to take it to heart and mend all of her broken relationships. Audra and Martin arrive, and they arrive in their matching champion outfits, just to rub it in Toya's face because Toya hates, casual dressing or whatever the hell. And so when they arrived, they were saying, what happened when they arrived? When Audra and Martin arrived, Toya was in the kitchen, Dr. Eugene was in the kitchen cooking, and, Martin greets everybody. He's like, he gives them away. He's like, hello, hello. Nothing but silence, nothing but crickets. Dr. Eugene did not respond. Toya did not respond. And I'm like, Toya, girl, aren't you going to go give your girl a hug? Because this is about healing and positivity. Heavenly approaches Toya and apologizes to Toya for how she acted at Dr. Jackie's house. Now, I just want to ask Dr. Heavenly one thing. Dr. Heavenly, do you ever get tired of constantly apologizing to people? You apologize and then you can't help yourself. You go back to your old ways, talking smack, and then you apologize again. And then you go back to your old ways and you apologize. Don't you get tired, Dr. Heavenly, of constantly groveling and apologizing to people? So she apologizes to Toya for her behavior at Dr. Jackie's house when Dr. Jackie had the appreciation dinner for the vaccine drive. Toya, even though, and then Dr. Heavenly tells Toya, I don't know what's wrong with me. I just can't stop crying. After she apologized, she talks about how she just can't stop crying. And Toya looks at her and Toya's like, of course you're crying because your mother just passed. And so Dr. Heavenly's like, I know. I just don't know what's wrong with me. And, and I don't know if she was looking for sympathy from Toya. I don't know what the hell was going on, but Toya was not giving it. Toya just kind of sat there a little bit on the stiff side and just looked at her. And she was just like, yeah, of course you're crying because your mother died. Your mother passed away. Your mother passed away. Of course you're crying. And I felt like Toya, even though she accepted Dr. Heavenly's apology, it wasn't with warmth, because I thought she would have been like, girl, don't worry about it. I understand what you're going through. I thought they would have hugged it out, but It didn't go that far. She did accept her apology, but honey, it did not go that far. Then we find out that Audra is definitely pregnant. I didn't know that Audra had a child already. So this is going to be her second child, the first for Martin. And it was really cute when they found out that they were going to be expecting a baby. Like I said, that 1 month of celibacy got Martin real potent because they just got married. Then everybody gathers downstairs in the kitchen because it's almost time for dinner. And then Toya says that she wants to go to a nudist establishment. Do you know who you're with? Can you read the room, Toya, at all? Like, what? Why would you say something like that? Let me tell y'all something about Toya, the way I see Toya. Number one, Tori seems like the kind of woman to me. Yeah, she loves her husband, blah, blah, blah. But I feel like she also craves the attention from other men. Because we cannot forget that one trip. I don't know how many years ago it was. I don't know where they were going, but it was right before. Anyways, they had that one trip. And Toya sat and this is right. This was during the time or right after Dr. Jackie and Curtis were going through their marital issues, and it came out that Curtis was unfaithful to Dr. Jackie. It was around that time, and I think it was at the time when they were just repairing their marriage. They were just getting over that very difficult time, and they're all going on a trip, and Toya sat in Curtis's lap. And everybody talked about how inappropriate that was because he had just got over this whole cheating scandal. It was all over the blogs. Everybody was talking about it. Dr. Jackie had decided to go ahead and stay in her marriage. And so they were still healing. And here comes Toya with her bodacious self and plops right down in Curtis's lap. Now here she is again talking about, well, I want to go to a nudist camp, beach, I don't know what. And everybody looked at her crazy. And I think she said that because she really wants to do it. I think she said that because she wants to put the image of her naked body in these other men's mind. That's what I think. Because why the hell would you bring... these people are not going to go no damn nudist establishment. They're not going to do that. And isn't it cold? Isn't it during the wintertime? Anyways, number two, the second thing that I want to say about Toya and Eugene. We don't know, obviously, what the hell Toya is doing. We don't know if she's cheated on Eugene or not. Most likely, she hasn't. I think a lot of people tend to believe that she has not cheated at all. That this rumor that got started was just started out of spite by whoever. So I totally believe that. Okay, I don't believe anything because I don't know. I don't know if she did or she didn't cheat. But if she had cheated and if she were to confess to it, or if it came out with proof and receipts that she did cheat, she ain't got nothing to worry about. Dr. Eugene would just forgive and forget and stay with this woman. Dr. Eugene ain't going nowhere. There is nothing that Toya can do that can make Eugene leave her. Absolutely nothing. He is so smitten with that woman. He is so blinded by that woman. There is nothing that Toya can do that would ever make Eugene want to leave her. Nothing. And that's why he will work double, triple, quadruple shifts. He will do whatever. He will work 2-3 jobs. He'll work in the oncology clinic. He'll go do some hours at the ER. He'll do whatever he's got to do to keep Toya happy. He ain't going nowhere. So even if it did come out that she cheated, it don't really matter. Her marriage is not going to be over. He's probably going to hang on to her stronger than ever to make sure that she doesn't do it again. Moving on. When Heavenly showed up, so Anila and Karen arrive. Heavenly shows up without Dr. Damon. Now, this is what I got to say about that. Heavenly always shows up without Dr. Damon. More often than not, whenever there's an event, especially when there's a trip, she shows up without Dr. Damon. Dr. Damon always comes in later. I think that Dr. Damon needs a break from Dr. Heavenly. I think he's like, you know what? I'm gonna tell her that I gotta work because I just need like a day or two to decompress and have some me time or something. Because he has his own practice now. So he's not like working in a ER room. He's not working in the emergency room. And Dr. Eugene, even when he was working in ER, he always made these trips on time. I don't think there were too many times, if at all, where Toya would show up without Eugene. And this was when he was in the middle of doing all that ER stuff. I don't understand why or how, what's his name? Dr. Damon always has to arrive a day after. This happens quite a bit. And I just think that he just needs a break from Heavenly. He's like, you know what? I'm going to catch up with y'all later because I just need, just give me a couple of hours just of peace and quiet. Anyways, so Anila and Kieran arrive. Heavenly arrives solo because, her husband will show up the next day. And Heavenly was super excited to see Anila. She was hugging on her and she was just so excited to see Anila. So at dinner, they start talking about Anila's home invasion. Toya takes this moment to express some sorrow. So I guess word got back to her that Anila had told Quad, Toya hasn't even checked in on me or anything. So Toya takes this opportunity to express, her sorrow for Anila being burglarized. And then Anila basically cuts her off and she's like, look, I just want to know one thing. Do y'all believe that this was a setup? And Toya says, I don't know what you're capable of because I don't know you. And like just that quickly. Now I understand that Toya is upset because of this nasty rumor that she believes was started by either Anila or her friend or the both of them. So she thinks that that rumor came from somewhere on Anila's side about her being unfaithful to Eugene. And it was really big of Toya to even give her apology, not her apology, to show her sorrow or to give her condolences or whatever to Anila. I know that was really hard for her to do. But it is what it is, right? So Toya was like, I don't know what you're capable of doing. Okay, fair enough. Nobody really knows. We have no idea. Fair enough. It is what it is. So yeah, that's all I have to say. That's my little review of Married to Medicine. It was a pretty decent episode. I really did enjoy it. I really hope that this is going to be a trip of healing, but it doesn't even matter. Like I always say with these reality TV shows, it doesn't even matter if they're going to get healed and they're going to repair their broken relationships with one another, because just give it a couple of more episodes, they're going to be back fighting again. And congratulations to Audra. I think in real time, she's already had the baby, and I think it was a baby boy. So congratulations to them. Thank you so much for joining me on my review. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, please don't forget to rate the video. And if you like this content and how I present it, go ahead and subscribe, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.